We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Tuesday by the time you hear this, recording at Monday night. And we have a regular guest, a frequent guest, Old Soul. It's been a little bit since you've been back on, but we're glad you're here now. You've been out uh, careening around the country, doing what Old Soul does.
Good.
First of all, welcome. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be here. Happy to be here. I showed you a picture of the kitten that our girls got
Pretty
before
cute.
we walked on, so that was pretty cool. And she took to me right away, so that was good too. She's just a little tiny thing, so that's pretty cool too.
I think kids and animals with you are kind of the same with me. Kids and animals like me, because they go,
Mhm.
that's a fucking mark right there. They'll do anything I want.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. She's small, so she's like a little runt, but um I think she's gonna be strong by the end of it because you got to be strong to be with these kids around here. They bad.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's been a couple of weeks since we last talked to you. You were out of town. I texted you and you were kind of incommunicado. Uh, and you were saying you didn't have your regular phone with you. So why don't you tell us what you were up to and what was going on and why you had a burner phone instead of a your regular phone?
Yeah, they have um I guess you could say they've been more aggressive than what they were at first. So if they
Ice, that
see,
is.
yeah, ISIS, if they see you filming something, they'll slap your phone out of your hand where they're trying to like make it hit the concrete. They'll like if your phone is like open and you're filming, they will take your phone and just like go through it because it's open. You're filming it, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll just take it, like your phone. They'll just take it and they'll just leave with it. Especially when there's like certain people and especially in California now that will like follow them, know what hotels they're staying in, watching them, seeing where they're going, and then that way they can tell other people like, okay, it's safe to go here because they're over there. So they've kind of like caught on to that, and so they try to like steal phones, break phones, go through phones or whatever. So the workaround of that is to just leave your regular phone at home, and then just kind of have
So,
like a phone in the field with you.
so you were in California,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and what were you doing out there?
Still helping women. They were targeting hospitals, doctors' offices for pregnant Hispanic women. They do not want any pregnant Hispanic women in this country, like at all. They're a target. It's for California right now. But I think what red states are not understanding is it's like harder for them to maneuver in red states, especially in California. Like they
Mhm.
have legislation that's working its way right now where they're not going to be able to wear their mask in California. They have like they're not able to profile. They still do it, but they're not supposed to. And then also it looks like the police are stepping in more. So they used to like pull people over all the time, but now when they pull people over, like the police officers in California will like come up behind ICE and kind of like step out, like, hey, what was the reason for this stop or whatever? And most likely the police will like let the immigrant like, okay, yeah, you can go. And then they'll just kind of stand right there with ICE while the other person leaves. So they're having like a harder time. They're being more aggressive, but it's like harder for them to move the way that they were moving before. And so what we started noticing and when we started having people contact us and say, in red states where they had like, I don't know, like in Arkansas, where they were having infrastructure that they needed to put back up after their last natural disaster. They were like fixing up a school and stuff like that. ICE got word like, hey, there's immigrants out there helping with these infrastructures and building this stuff back up. Those are easy targets. And so they started going out there and like pulling those people off of like sites and stuff like that. So it's like look like red states were kind of maybe escaping ICE a little bit, but it looks like they're working their way to red states right now because they see easy targets that are trying to help with the infrastructures and stuff that's going on in some of these red states, which is
So
crazy.
do you think things like this are happening in California with a little pushback from the police departments because of the LA mayor and because of Gavin Newsom, because of the things they're implementing? You said they aren't going to be able to wear masks anymore in California. That might just get them away from California because there's
Yeah.
such cowards that they don't want anybody to see them.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of pushback. And then there's like business owners who will hide their migrant labor forces. And so we went to like one site, and I kid you not, like they came in with like horses. There was like a helicopter overhead, and they completely trash the construction site. So we see a construction site, we see tools and stuff like that, but there's some kind of like organization to it. So where people are not walking into holes and they're not getting hurt. But it was
Right.
like those wooden planks was like everywhere. There's like holes and stuff all in the ground. You see like the hooves from the horses and stuff. There's horse poop everywhere. I'm not a horse person, but horses are not potty trained. So when you come in there with like horses and different stuff, it leaves a mess. So whatever work that they had done on this construction site was completely destroyed. And not only that, but they have to clean that up and then pretty much kind of like have to start from scratch. And that
Right.
whole site now is just there, it's just done. There's like it's just it was like rubble that they left behind. It was crazy to see how much damage that they cause when they do stuff like that. Like you see it on television, but like when the cameras leave and everything and you like look at the actual site, they completely just tore this construction site up, just completely tore it up. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It looked like a bomb or something had went off there. That's how bad it looked there. And the owner is like, there's like, what do I do now? You don't have labor, but not only that, but you have to like fix the construction site before it's even safe for people to work there. And it's like he was just sitting there like, where do I start? Like, how do I start building from this? It was crazy. But you know,
What's
I just
what's the
don't care
what's
about
the
that.
what,
They come and they tear everything up and then they just leave. And they just
what's the
leave it.
what's the behavior of the people in Los Angeles? You know, we when it started out, it was big protest, and Donald Trump wanted us to believe that it was some kind of violent thing, and it really wasn't. He sent 4,000 National Guard in there. Now he pulled out 2,000 National Guard, and I think he pulled out the Marines. How is the citizens of LA behaving around this thing?
The general census
Yeah,
pissed off. Like the immigrants are kind of like afraid, hesitant. They kind of just like I don't want to say like a ghost town in certain areas, but it's you're used to like hustle and bustle. People are out. They got their businesses going. It's like a food truck over here. It's different stuff going on. In certain
yeah.
areas, it's just not like that anymore. It's like the life has been like sucked out of certain communities. But just like the regular, I don't want to say regular, but the like American people that don't have to worry about being plucked up off the streets, they're just pretty much like pissed off. They're ready to fight. These people are like in their faces, they're like screaming at them, they're cussing them out, they're doing all kind of stuff. Like they take a lot of verbal abuse and harassment from the citizens in that state. Like they get followed to like their hotels and stuff. They have lights
Really?
like in the middle of the night being shown in their hotel windows and cars honking and all this other kind of stuff. Like the people were just like harassing them like crazy. So it's
Oh,
just
that's
kind of
too
like,
bad.
yeah, they don't have an easy time in California right now. And I think that could be another reason why they're starting to like navigate and go towards other states where maybe they can feel more safe, if that makes sense. Because right now it's like it, California has their foot on these people neck from the government all the way down to the people. They just not putting up with any of this kind of crap. And they are being harassed. And it's like law enforcement and the officials out there are just like, hey, this is America. As long as you're not putting your hands on nobody, you can harass them. Like there's like, hey, do you? Like there's no they're not getting in trouble for those type of actions. And so they are just doing it. They don't care.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes sense that they are going to the blue states because, of course, Donald Trump wants to punish the blue states. But when it becomes difficult, they may want to go to the red states. But I have a feeling that the red states might not be easy either. In fact, it may be harder than the blue states because these are some crazy motherfucking Trumplafucks. And if you do something they don't like, they're going to push back. we're seeing what MAGA is doing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. So they're not opposed to pushing back against somebody they once thought was on their side.
Yeah, especially if they see when I saw, I only got to see that one construction site that they tore up like that. And so when they start doing this in red states, farms, construction sites, there's like different infrastructures that's trying to like rebuild after extreme weather events. So when they come in there on horseback with helicopters, with a bunch of people just swarming in and tearing up everything and just causing all of this destructive and damage,
Yeah.
and they see that up close, it's going to affect them differently than when they're watching it on television and cheering it on. Because I was disgusted by seeing it on television, but I didn't know how much like physical damage it caused to like property and people's businesses and homes. Like they kick people's doors in. There's pets that are like running around because if your owners don't come back home, or if their door is kicked in and they take the family out and your pets are there, like what do your pets do? So you do have like people that's like going around and collecting household pets because there's nobody there to take care of them. So when they start seeing stuff like that, I think that the response that they're having right now, where they're just watching it go on in blue states, is going to be completely different than what they think it is. I'm like, I don't like to see this happen. I don't want to see this happen. But when it go to red states, it's going to be like, all right, well, deal with it. This is what you wanted. So I
Well,
think they'll have
they
a
kind of
different
have
aspect
to,
of the
they
community.
kind of have to go to the red states because they're looking at um, um, pulling in numbers and deporting large numbers of people. They're having trouble doing that. They haven't deported nearly as many people as Barack Obama did. And
Mm-hmm.
so now they're trying to hit the soft targets and try to get as many people out, but they're not doing very well. Tom Homan is failing. Big surprise, that big dumb Fred Flintstone looking motherfucker. But
Yeah, not
so
only
so
that, but it's so wasteful. Like the
yeah.
helicopters and the horses and all of the gear and all of that stuff. So it's like, yeah, they have this huge budget. And I would be worried if this type of budget was in the hands of, and I don't want to say, Obama or Biden was like, evil people. But if they had that type of budget and they were on this type of mission and mass deportation like Trump is on, they would be able to organize it to where that money would stretch for years and years. The way that they are moving, they want to make such a production and such a show out of it. It's like they're wasting more money and they're not really getting a return on what they are putting out there. Like they are entertaining and they're feeding this red meat to their base, but when you think about it, like the bottom line in the dollar, this is very wasteful. Like you're spending all of this money and you're using all of this equipment and gear and military gear and stuff like that, but you're only bringing in like a fraction of what the other administrations were able to bring in and deport it. You know what I mean? Like it's so wasteful. It's like they think that this is an endless money pit. Like they're never gonna hit the bottom of this pit. And people keep looking at, oh, look how big this budget is. And I have to tell them, like, remind yourself, this is being ran by someone who bankrupt casinos. And then the people he put in charge of this project, they are so like foaming at the mouth and they're just anxious to see the fear and the suffering and the scare tactics, that they are not looking at it from a strategic standpoint. They're just not. It's weird that they don't think logically about what they're doing.
What you're
I
thinking
don't.
of, what you're talking about is the incompetence of this administration, and we see him
Yeah.
do it day after day. Like he's bringing in this plane that he got for free that could cost us $1 billion to retrofit in a bunch of years. It makes no sense. It's all about
Mhm.
performance. It's all about trying to create some scare tactics, and that may be a saving grace for this country is Donald Trump's complete incompetence and ignorance and
Yeah.
trying to put on a show but not doing a very good job of it. And I think that you're absolutely right. You're going to see them. They got a chunk of money in this new budget thing, but Donald Trump's not known for following budgets or doing
Right.
smart things. You may be very well right. He'll blow his wad and then he'll be begging for more money, but no one's going to give him any more money. I wouldn't suspect with the way things are going for him.
They already begging for money. Did you see that?
Yeah, you told me
The,
that. Go ahead, tell these folks this because this is fucking absolutely ridiculous.
so the White House, they put out, you can actually, as a taxpayer, an American citizen, you can do your patriotic duty and donate to pay down the $36 trillion national debt via PayPal or Venmo. Like you can
Jesus
literally
Christ.
make payments towards the national debt. Now, your tax
Okay.
money is not enough. They supposed to cut your benefits, and you may not be able to feed your kids, but you can help pay down this national debt and help contribute, to first of all, who would put their debit or credit card anything anywhere with Trump's name on it? That's just wild to me. But if your taxes don't do it and your government is talking about, hey, you're gonna have to be on your own because we're not helping y'all with nothing, but at the same
Yeah.
time, we want you to give us money to help pay down the debt. I don't even think MAGA is going to fall for that. Like, I just don't think they're going to do it. But if they want to, I say, hey, do it. I don't think there's a direct line to the Treasury here. I don't trust this money going towards the national debt, like, at all. I just don't.
No.
When you
No,
can
hell no.
easily make these millionaires and billionaires just pay their dang taxes. That's all they got to do. But they want us to pay for it? Get the hell out of
Our,
here.
I had nothing to do with our national debt. Neither did you, and neither did anybody listening to this thing. I can't imagine guys, MAGA guys in Alabama going, I'm going to cut back on meth this week and I'm going to send that motherfucker $100 and do my patriotic duty. I don't think that's
No,
happening.
no, if they do, and like a lot of
If they
this,
do, great. Spend all your money. Give it to Donald Trump.
yeah, and I think that I don't think they are used to what they're getting from what they would call like leftists or radical leftists or libtards, whatever they want to call us. Because before we would like volunteer and help them after national disasters and donate money to kind of help clean up their states and stuff because their politicians are failing them. And
Right.
they never saw that before. But now that those dollars are not coming in, now that those volunteers are not coming in, and they have to lean on their leaders and there's no money there, and they're looking to the libtards, and the libtards are like, this is what you voted for, FAFO, and they have no cares about it. And I think that they are not expecting that, and I think they're struggling with that a little bit. But on top of that, the people who are willing to come and help, ISIS was to come and round them up. So it's just, I don't understand why they are still holding on to Trump, but I think once ICE get in there and start making things worse, they may see it differently, but I don't know. These people
Well,
at this
no,
point, I don't know what they can do to
I think
make
that's
them.
one of the things we have to do as Democrats is to change our style, like you're suggesting. Like, for example, when there is a natural disaster and they're
Yeah.
looking for humanitarian help, Donald Trump's not going to give it. And
Mm-mm.
we're just trying to stay alive too. So fend for yourself. That's what Donald Trump wanted. Every state deals for themselves. So you're going to struggle with that. And secondly, every time Donald Trump comes out with something and they're looking for the libtards to go, oh my, that's terrible. They love that because they're owning the libtards. My attitude with it right now is there's so much shit fucked up. I'm not surprised by anything. I'm just going to say, do what you want to do, and then we'll see how long it lasts. But I'm not going to cry about this shit. If you want to make your people, your own people suffer, go ahead, fucking do it. And as long as they aren't upsetting the liberals and they're not getting any help, they can't they can't go any other way than get mad at the people that are doing this to them. So maybe that's how we behave with these fucks.
Yeah, I think we have to. Because it's just kind of, I don't, have you ever just been around someone who was just unappreciative and they
Yeah,
didn't realize it until, that help or that little extra bit that they were getting was like no longer there. I think
right.
this is kind of how it is with red states because they really did look at, like blue states is like, for some reason they thought that we were the ones that's leeching off of the system and we didn't work and all this other kind of stuff. It was just the red states, the hard working, red blooded patriots that did everything for this country, when they can clearly look around and see that people are working. However, in certain states, the education is down, the cost of living is up, the quality of life is down. And even though you may be working 40 and 60 hours a week, you still need government assistance because they don't believe in paying a living wage in your state. And it comes from like places like California, who actually pays more into the system than when they get out, that keeps red states afloat. But when they don't have that any longer, then they actually have to face the problem and look at the people that they are electing and look at their circumstances and, put the blame at the feet of where it's supposed to be. I think that we've been given certain people easy outs for such a long time, and clearly that's not the right way to deal with it. You can't deal with it.
People always talk about the blue states cutting off the federal funding or federal money going to the federal government from the blue states. And it's one thing to do that out of spite and do that. But the fact of the matter is, if you want it to work the way Donald Trump has said he wants it to work, the state to take care of themselves, they can't send them the federal money. If you've got fires and the FEMA won't help, then California is going to have to come up with the money. So stop sending the feds money. I mean, you this is what always amazes me and why red states don't get this. You want us to keep sending federal taxes in, but they keep telling us they don't want to do anything for us. That makes no sense. If you invest in anything, you want a return on investment, and they're telling you, send us the money, but we're not doing anything for you. That's got to stop ultimately.
Yeah, I think part of it too with red states, when you talk to some of the people who really just don't know and they really don't understand, and I live in Vegas, and this state went for Trump, and the tourism is down, and people act like they have no idea why. But I think like when you look at the people who are misinformed and they really just don't understand, and I don't like to use the word stupid, but I mean, like, that's just what it is. It's just stupid. But when they say, hey, we don't want to pay taxes because we pay our taxes and our government does nothing for us, they look at a federal level. They never look at a local level. But even when they look at a federal level, they only look at it from like a certain point of view. Like, we pay our federal tax dollars, but when they have these extreme weather events and FEMA come in there, they don't complain about that. But when you have the federal government trying to send them money to feed kids for the summer or do, expansions for Medicare and Medicaid or different things that they have going on with the Affordable Care Act, and their local government is saying, no, we're not going to take these funds. Their local government isn't taking those funds. The federal government is sending it, but the local government is saying, no, we don't want it. But they blame the federal government for their local officials denying the funds or sending the funds back. You know what I mean? So they have to kind of like see the system and how it's supposed to work, but who is actually blocking it from working and from helping them. You know what I mean? If they say we need to raise the minimum wage, oh, that's communism. They're telling private businesses how they should run. Okay, but now the government is going to come in and they're going to cut off food stamps and they're going to cut off your health insurance. And the only thing that you have is your employer, but your employer is not paying you a living wage. So that's the only way that they will address that issue, because the government is going to say, no, you're working, you should be able to afford X, Y, and Z. And then when they're like, hey, but I'm working 2 jobs and I still can't afford that, then they have to say, well, how come you working 2 jobs and you still don't have enough money to buy groceries or to be able to afford to take your children to the doctor? Like, they have to go through that in order to understand that, hey, I'm blaming the wrong person. I should be blaming the people here. And maybe if I hold these people accountable or put somebody in there who actually wants to change it, it's like they have to suffer first. It's bizarre. Like, they have to suffer first. They don't look at other people suffering and say, hey, that's not right. We should do something about that. They see other people suffering and it's like, I don't listen. It ain't affecting me. Like it literally has to affect them first. It's the most
Well,
selfish thing I've ever seen in my life.
well,
So
the talk is because of the climate in this country, all states that count on tourism are losing money at this point.
oh,
There isn't nearly as much tourism. And you're in Las Vegas, and I've
mm-hmm.
heard a lot of talk about Las Vegas. Some people have said, "Oh, it's really bad," and some people say, "Oh, it's not that bad." What's it really going like in Las Vegas? Because Las Vegas is the epitome of a tourism destination. If not for tourism, Las Vegas is in trouble. Where are you
Oh,
guys at now?
it depends if you're someone like me or other people who have like a corporate job, because we do have corporate headquarters out here. So you have
Right.
like
But I mean,
Citibank,
in the hospitality business, how's that going? Well,
hospitality of the, if you ask people from the hospitality industry, they will let you know what the Trump administration is really doing. If you talk to somebody who is not in the hospitality industry and they're not really feeling that pain like that, they will give you a different story. But I think the people who are not in the hospitality industry, they're not feeling it yet, but they are going to. There's no way that we are all going to escape this and not feel it, because you have a lot of people who do drive like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash,
right.
whatever. This is like a 24-hour town. It runs 24 hours. So you can like get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you could drive Uber or Lyft or whatever, make a couple $100 and be able to pay your bills and do what you need to do. But when you don't have that tourism there, where you can't make that money up and there's no part-time job or anything like that to help supplement your income, you are going to feel it one way or another. Groceries here is like crazy. I can't even like tell you. You put like 10 things in your cart and you are already at like $60, damn near 100, depending on what you got. Like you are going to feel it one way or another. It's just like some people are feeling it right now, and other people it's going to catch up to us
Well,
by the
that's
time you're going to
that's
feel
the
it.
point. You get a place like Las Vegas, and you think, okay, tourism is down, so the
Mhm,
casinos aren't doing well, the hotels aren't doing well, but it kind of spiders out, like you suggested, because a lot of support for those hospitality businesses, like Uber, like
mhm,
restaurants, like anything. I mean, if if you go to Las Vegas and the hospitality associate or hospitality uh, community is losing money, it does a couple of things. Everybody who supports that is losing money. The amount of
mhm.
taxes the states is getting is losing
Yeah,
money. It's going, like you say, it's going to affect everybody eventually. It's going to hit the hotels and the casinos first, the
mhm.
venues and that sort of thing. You know, you got that Sphere down there, which is crazy popular. But
Mhm.
if nobody wants to go to Vegas, what's the point of turning on the lights?
Yeah, yeah. And we don't have state taxes here because our like casinos and tourism pays for all of that stuff. So there are certain things that we are not accustomed to dealing with. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like as far as like funding for schools and lunches and all that different stuff. Like there's certain things that we are not accustomed to here that we are going to have to become accustomed to. There's already budget cuts. One of the things that does give me hope though about the casinos and the layoffs and everything I mean, layoffs are crazy in the casinos right now. Like they are just
Really?
slashed. There's like certain places they're not like laying people off. Like there's whole sectors that anybody that's under that umbrella, you're fired. So you think of like a doorman, a bellhop. When you think about like maids and different things, like there's certain they have like different towers or different floors for rooms, and they're like, yeah, we don't have enough people, so we can only, put people on maybe like the first 10 floors, but everything
Right.
above that we're just gonna like clean those rooms, shut them down, and they're just gonna be empty. But you gotta think about all of those maids that were on those floors, all of those porters that were on those floors, gone, no job. There's no like bailments and stuff there. Like I think like valet and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, we'll just like let people park their own cars because it's not gonna be like busy and full like it normally is. They could just park and just walk to the hotel. So why do we need valet anymore? Like there's whole like sectors that is just being gone. There's a lot of people here who were like, no tax on tips, no tax on tips. They were also like excited about it. and now they read the fine print of no tax on tip, and they understand that that's just not what it is, and they feel betrayed, like they were gypped. You have somebody like me who was looking like, did y'all really think Donald Trump was gonna come in here and say y'all didn't have to pay taxes? Like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird that they thought that he would follow through on any of this stuff that he said. But I did see a focus group. Well, I didn't see it, but I was listening to a focus group earlier when I was working. And unfortunately, some of these people, they just don't know yet. Because there were people like, oh, yeah, you know, tourism down and stuff. And the person that was hosting the focus group asked them why they thought tourism was down. And a majority of them said, oh, it's because of the news is painting America in a negative light. So people don't want to come here. So they are not tying the fact that tourism is down because Donald Trump is taking Canadians and holding them into detention centers and assaulting these Canadian girls and women and then deporting them. They are not paying attention to that type of stuff. They don't understand why, you know, people from Mexico wouldn't want to come to Vegas and party for the weekend. Or like my friend came here from the UK and her daughter were detained. Do you think these people want to come back to America? There are literally travel bans and warnings from other countries. Do not go to America. You will end up in a concentration camp. It's not safe for you in America. But they don't think that it's Donald Trump and his policies. They think the news is like making a big deal out of it and it's scaring people from coming to America. That's what they think. So I live here. And I was listening to that focus group and I was like, oh, like they don't know. They have no idea that this is the reason why tourism is down. It's directly due to Trump. They think the news is scaring people from coming here. Like, what the hell? They just don't know.
They can think whatever they want, but when they're broke and have no money and getting kicked out of their houses, what are they going to do? Are they going to finally realize at that point? It's a sad state of affairs if it takes that extent to get people to think critically. But unfortunately, that seems to be the case.
That's what it's going to take. And like when I talk about other states and their suffering and what they're going to go through, like I'm not under any delusion that it's not going to hit Nevada, especially Vegas. I know it's going to hit here and I know people are going to suffer. But this state voted for Trump and we have a Republican governor. So we're getting ready to go through it just like everybody else. But I can acknowledge in my state, listen to focus group, watch interviews on the news that's here and see these people not getting it, not understanding it, not connecting the dots. And I understand and I know that these people around me in my own state are going to have to really, really suffer before they understand and pay attention to what's going on. Because right now it's just, oh, you know, lefty libs are just being extra and they're making it look worse than what it is. They have to feel it first. Like they literally have to feel it first, which is crazy to me. But
it is crazy. Since the election, you and I and other people have been talking about all the things that Donald Trump has done criminally, corruption wise, just stupidly, just ignorant. And I don't know that we've talked. Well, I don't know that we've talked since the whole Jeffrey Epstein kind of thing blew up. Did you ever imagine if there would be one thing that would turn his people against him, that it would be Jeffrey Epstein and not some of the other fucking ridiculous, outrageous shit?
No, but I don't really think it's just Jeffrey Epstein. I really don't. I think that it's Jeffrey Epstein on top of everything else. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
gas prices are not down, food prices are not down. You said once immigrants left, everything would be all great, but they're seeing a lot of people. You have those hardcore, diehard MAGA racist people, but then you have other people who voted for Trump, but they weren't MAGA. You know what I mean? They were just kind of like ignorant, really didn't understand or know how stuff worked. And they don't like what they're seeing. So you have him not delivering on any promises. You have people who voted for Trump who really do understand that big, beautiful bill of BS is not good for this country. And they understand that like 90% of this country, they don't agree with the policies that's in that bill, but he's shoving it down our throats anyway. And then when
Right.
you add on top of that, not only is it clear as day that he's in the files, but he is covering it up. He's sitting here every day. He stick his foot in his mouth even worse. He's like, I never had the pleasure of going to Jeffrey Epstein's
Privilege,
island.
privilege.
Privilege, you know what I mean? Oh, but you know what? There's nothing that says I can't pardon her. I could if I want to. Like he's just teasing it and just throwing it out there. That's the kind of stuff that works for his base. Like he'll throw something out there. He won't fully commit, but it's kind of like a fisherman just throwing that line out there and like reeling it in. Like he's preparing them for what he's getting ready to do. But a normal person is looking at that like, what the F? And they are not with that. So you're just compounding it, compounding it, compounding it. And then not only are you in the files, but you are going to protect the people that's in the files, not just American, but an international pedo ring. You are protecting those people.
Let me ask you this:
It's
if
just like,
you're,
okay, how much more of this crap do you want us to put up with? I think that's
let,
what like most of the people are who voted for Trump. That's where they falling at with it. I don't think they care
let,
about the women. I don't think that at
let, let-
all.
no, they don't care about the women. But do you think? I want to see if you're on the same page with me on two things. First of all, I hope he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean,
I
she
think
doesn't
he,
deserve it. If he does, that will burn the Republicans down and turn everybody against him. Secondly, I hope they never release the files until after the 2026 election,
yeah,
because the longer he hides them, the worse he looks, the madder they get. If they release it and somehow try to sanitize it or something and give them a reason to think, well, maybe it's not so bad. I'd rather they don't release it. And if he pardons Ghislaine, I mean, I don't like the idea of him pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. She is a monster. Let's just fucking say it. She is a
yeah.
monster.
Mhm.
My only thing about Ghislaine Maxwell is, uh, for her sake, I'm thinking she might be safer in jail than walking the fucking streets. Honestly.
I think that there's no way that she doesn't have a flash drive, what we would call like, like a trigger drive, which is basically there's a flash drive and somebody has it. And if something happens to me, that flash drive goes viral tomorrow. So I don't think that she's more safe in jail than she is outside of jail. I think that she has that trigger drive, and I think that Donald Trump and his administration is very aware of that. I do think that is part of the reason. Like he gave her the, well, I don't even want to say Trump gave her the leverage. I actually want to say Elon Musk gave her the leverage because they
Right.
were fine with their folder of nothing. Phase one will roll out phase two whenever, and phase two never happens. But they were fine with that lie and that excuse. Like that was only in the news for like 2 days, and then it rolled over to something else. Like they were fine with that. But once
Right.
Elon Musk came out and made a definitive statement, he's never going to release the files because he's in them, then he just gave them all the red meat that they could ever want. And these are the most conspiracy theory, I'm far out there, QAnon type of people you will ever meet in your life. And you gave them like the biggest conspiracy theory of all time. They are not going to let that go. They are just not going to let it go, period. It's just not going to happen. And another way that he is helping them is how easy for the next administration or whoever comes after Trump to just say Donald Trump tampered with the files or this, like whatever is going on with those files, it is so easy to put that on Donald Trump's back. So he shot himself in the foot and he helped the next person. Nobody, whatever comes out after this, nobody is going to trust those files, period.
Oh, well,
Because
the thing
he,
about it is he wants to maybe pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Uh, he wants to release the transcripts, which is not going to happen. Um, what he
it's never
doesn't
going
understand, what he doesn't understand is that isn't what they wanted. Ghislaine Maxwell isn't going to feed them what they want to be fed. On neither of the transcripts, if by some chance he was able to get that done, they want the files. And it's simply a fact. We know there's 100,000 pages. We know there's financial files. We know there's videotapes, and they're sitting on Pam Bondi's desk. People are saying,
Mhm.
fire Pam Bondi. Go ahead, fire Pam Bondi, because whoever you put in there isn't going to release it either. It doesn't fucking matter. It's Donald Trump that doesn't want it released. And anything we can do to make that more apparent, I think we're better off.
Yeah. Donald Trump, he's like normally he can lie and contradict himself within the same sentence, within the same breath, and they don't pick up on it. But in this case, every little thing that he does and says, they are like honed in on that thing, like Superman's hearing. Like they are honed in on it. And I would think that certain things I would have to explain to them, but then when you look at like their post online, they're picking up on it. Because in one sentence he was like, I didn't pay attention to the files. It's really not that important to me. I don't know why people's worried about it that much. It's like they're making a big deal out of nothing. This is just a big hoax. But then in the next sentence, he says Bill Clinton, he went to the island 28 times. And then instantly it's like, wait, but I thought you wasn't paying attention to it. I thought you didn't really know what was going on. I thought it wasn't a big deal. I thought it was a hoax. So how do you know in detail how many times Bill Clinton went there? And then you can follow that up with like, well, if you know how many times Bill Clinton went to the island, then you damn sure know how much time you went to the island, how many times you were there. So why aren't you
Yeah.
telling your business? So it's like he is constantly talking about it. And the more he talks about it, the more he like rubs them the wrong way. But the only way to keep him talking about it is for us to keep the pressure up. So we keep the
Right.
pressure on him, and then his mouth just do the rest. Like his mouth is like his worst enemy. He cannot shut the hell up. Like, dude, stop talking. It's the dumbest thing.
And
I've never seen anybody talk like that.
the two mistakes Donald Trump has, or two problems he has, is he thinks he can talk his way out of anything, and clearly that's not the case. Donald Trump is
Mm-mm.
experiencing what every narcissist experiences. They can bullshit and bluster for so long, but
Yeah,
eventually there's too many lies, too many contradictions, too many questions, and they just can't manage it anymore. They can't juggle it anymore. And Donald Trump is kind of at this point because no matter what he says, short of releasing those files, he can't win. He can make
yeah.
every excuse he wants, any bit of bullshit. That's just going to make people more suspicious and they're going to demand it more. And that's why I say, I hope he keeps doing it. I've told you before, Donald, the one thing you can count on with Donald Trump, whatever he's doing, he will fuck it up. And he's fucking it up every day.
Yeah, I think like part of the like part of the read like there was like this little superpower that Republicans had where they would control the narrative like across board. They would control the narrative like Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, Donald Trump, like his administration, everybody would be on the same page, repeating the same lie over and over and over again. But now they just kind of like all over the place, not just with the Epstein thing, but with everything. With tariffs, they all over the place. With the big, beautiful bill, they are all over the place. Like they're just all over the place. But the reason that they are all over the place is because Donald Trump lies so much, so often. He never shuts the hell up. And he is used to people not saying anything that just doesn't agree with him or kiss his butt. That one minute he says one thing, they go out there on the Sunday shows, and that's what everybody's saying. They're repeating it. By the time they put head to pillow at night, Donald Trump is saying or tweeting something completely different. It is impossible to have across the board narrative on any of this stuff when you have someone like Donald Trump that is leading the narrative, because he is not leading a narrative. He's just saying whatever he has to say in any given moment, depending on who he's talking to, depending on who he's sitting across from, depending on what fake facts he has or whatever else. Like it's discombobulated. It makes no sense. And his brain is very soft right now. So he's not capable of doing that. But he can be incapable of doing that. But he has to have competent people around him. He doesn't have competent people around him. But
No,
not
he
only that,
doesn't.
he has people around him who will not tell him the truth. And I know that they are lying to him about prices are down here. We're doing great here, sir. Your tariffs are working wonderfully. Like I always knew that. But today, when I was like catching up on the news and I saw him with Powell and the hard hat in the building or whatever it was, and Donald Trump pulled that piece of paper out of his pocket, like he thought that those were the numbers and he thought that was the truth. And
Thought he
Powell was like,
nailed him.
this is stupid. Like, no, this isn't true. This is like a lie. This is fake. It was the same thing when the reporter sat in front of him and he was talking about the tattoos on the guy's hand. Like he really thought that was real. The people around him are allowing him to live in an alternate reality. And it's not gonna work. Like you either get rid of him or you just sit here and watch this whole ship go down with no survivors. Like the Republican Party won't survive that type of crash. So it's like, I personally think he's going to pardon her. I don't think he's going to get a lot of pushback on it. And I think that's going to be deliberate. I really do. I think they are like, okay, yeah, so not only is he taking from everybody else and everybody else is screwed and they're all losing their money, like, hey, we cool with that. But now we losing our money too. Like tax cuts is good, but what good is tax cuts when we don't have people who can afford to shop in our stores? When you have Amazon, like, hey, our our Cyber Monday didn't really go off good. Like when you have stuff like that like happening, the billionaires who are actually in charge and running the government, they're not going to let that slide. So they are just allowing him to dig his hole with this Epstein thing. And I don't think he's going to last. I think they are building up to get rid of him, but I do think I think he's going to pardon that heifer. I really, really think he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it.
I do too, because just the way he acts and the way he does things, and it's going to blow up in his face, just like everything else blows up in his face. But I think
Yeah.
that's going to be huge. You were talking about the billionaires. Let's talk about the billionaires. We know that Rupert Murdoch released the information about his little card and then released a little bit more, and he's going to release a little bit more. Donald Trump says, I'm going to sue you for $10 billion. Do you think Rupert Murdoch cares? He got sued and lost for $700 million. He doesn't
No.
give a shit. Um,
He would love to go to Discovery in this case. Are you kidding me? Like,
well, that's what Donald Trump said today. Donald Trump said today, we need to when Rupert Murdoch didn't back down after he said, I'm going to sue you. He says, okay, I want to get Rupert Murdoch deposed quickly because he's old and his health isn't good. Shit.